Stop everything you're doing right now. If a name from your family has crossed your mind today, and it hurts, this moment is not background content. This is what you needed to hear. You passed the hardest test there is. Being betrayed by a stranger is painful, yes. But being betrayed by someone of your own blood, someone who knew your name since the beginning, who knew exactly where you kept what was most sacred, who sat at the same table and prayed over the same food, and you survived that. Chosen one, you're still standing. That is not small. That is the kind of survival that changes the architecture of who you are. This morning, something was recalculated in the invisible realm concerning you, about this betrayal specifically, about what it was designed to cost you, and about what is now approaching your life precisely because of it. I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to say is not something that found you by accident. You didn't get here because of an algorithm. What happened inside your family was designed to be the fuel for your victory, not the end of it. Now let me speak plainly about what you've been carrying. There's a memory that fires on its own. It comes at 3 in the morning, or in the middle of a quiet drive, or when you hear a certain song, and it replays the scene, the moment you found out, the moment the mask came off, the exact words that were said, or the silence that fell in the room after. You've tried not to think about it, but it doesn't ask permission. It just comes. You've noticed the silence in places where there used to be noise, a group chat that went cold, a seat at a gathering that was once full of warmth and is now filled with something you can't name. You catch yourself watching the door at family events, calculating distances, rehearsing conversations you hope won't happen. The body remembers, even when the mind tries to move on. Your chest tightens before a phone call. Your hands feel different when you type a reply to a name that used to feel safe. You smile at people who have no idea what happened inside that house. You hold yourself together in public because you've decided not to give this wound the dignity of a scene. But when you're alone, the question comes back. How? How could someone who knew me like that, who watched me build what I've built, who understood my fears and my history and my private prayers, how could they turn around and do this? And underneath the question, if you're honest, there's something even heavier. You were close to something, a breakthrough, a door that was finally starting to open, a season that felt different from all the seasons before, and this betrayal landed right in the middle of it. Money stalled, decisions got postponed. Energy that used to be available for the work now disappears before the morning is over. You feel the drain of carrying something that has no clean resolution, and somewhere in the back of your mind a quiet fear has been whispering, what if this is the thing that stops me? Chosen one, that whisper is not a prophecy. It is a lie that requires your agreement to become real. And today, you are being invited to withdraw that agreement. If what I just described lives in your body, take 1 second right now and press the like. Not for the platform, not for an algorithm. This is a prophetic agreement, a yes in the spirit to the word that is searching you out today. When you press it, I want you to speak this quietly. Clarity within 72 hours on the next step. Let your yes be a seed, not a click. Before I give you what I came here to give you, I want to point you to something I've put together called the Solomon Code. It's the full framework for what we're going to start today. Not a shortcut, but a system. The details are in the pinned comment. Go there when the video ends. Now stay with me for a moment in a field, an open field in the ancient Near East, and a young man is walking alone. His name is Joseph. His father sent him to check on his brothers, and he is walking with full trust, no armor, no guard, no reason to suspect that the people who share his blood are already planning what they plan. They see him coming from a distance, and they do not see a brother. They see a threat, they see the coat, they see what their father gave him that they were not given, and they scheme. And by the time the sun moves across that sky, Joseph is in a pit, thrown there by his own blood, sold for silver, gone. His brothers sat down to eat after. The text says that plainly. They sat down to eat. They thought they were erasing a destiny. They thought they were winning. They had no idea, and this is the thing I need you to hold, they had no idea that they were the unconscious instruments of the very plan they were trying to stop. The pit was not the grave. The pit was the portal. Every chain that followed was a step, not a setback. Every dungeon was a preparation room. And the day Joseph stood before Pharaoh, none of it could have happened without the brothers, the pit, the betrayal, the silence. Staying faithful to your calling when your own family buries you is the test that destiny requires. Now let me give you something real, something you can do tonight. There is a moment in the book of Genesis where Joseph stands before his brothers, the same brothers who sold him, and they are terrified. They think he will finally repay them. And Joseph says something that has been ringing through thousands of years of human suffering. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about, that many people should be kept alive as they are today. Genesis 50 verse 20. That is not a sermon, that is a diagnosis. It is a man who has done the internal accounting and arrived at clarity. Tonight, I want you to sit down with paper and a pen. Not a phone, paper, pen. And I want you to do what I call the Joseph inventory. 3 questions written by hand in order. The first question, who planned this against me? And what was the intention behind it? Write the name. Write what they intended. Not with rage, with the precision of a diagnostician. You are not prosecuting a case. You are naming a reality. The enemy hates unnamed things. When you write it plainly, you remove the power of the fog. The second question, what has God already built or is currently building from this specific evil? This requires honesty in both directions, not just what was taken, but what was created. Look at the months since the betrayal. What distance did it create that, if you're honest, protected you? What clarity emerged about who belongs in your inner circle? What strength developed in you that could not have developed without the pressure? List the movements, however small. God does not waste betrayal. The third question, what clarity, what freedom, what position would I have never reached if this betrayal had not happened? This is the inventory of disguised grace. It is the hardest to write and the most liberating to finish. There are things you now know about yourself, about your calling, about your capacity that you could not have learned any other way. Name them, write them, and when you write them, you will feel the accounting shift. This is the exercise Joseph completed before he ever spoke those words to his brothers. The math was already done on the inside. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. That's not positive thinking. That's a man who has seen the whole ledger. Chosen one, the Joseph inventory is real. You can do it tonight and you will feel the difference. I want to be honest with you, though. One exercise on one night does not replace a system. The breakthrough you are carrying, the one that this betrayal was designed to interrupt, it needs more than a single prayer walk. It needs architecture. And that is why I need to say this plainly. You don't need revenge. You need discernment. The betrayal has already been filed in the heavenly court. God has taken up your cause. This is not a season where your job is to fight the person who wounded you. That case is no longer yours to prosecute. Your season of war, the internal war, the war for your own sanity, the war against the question, how could they? That season is ending. What is beginning now is the season of governing. Governing your home, governing your decisions, governing your future. And to govern, chosen one, surviving is not enough. You need what Solomon asked for when everything was on the table, discernment. That is exactly what the Solomon Code is built around. 3 movements. The first is identifying the betrayal pattern clearly enough that it never catches you the same way twice. This is not bitterness. This is wisdom with borders. The second is repositioning your energy from the wound toward the assignment, because the enemy's strategy was always to trap your capacity inside the grief. And the third is building the clarity structure, the specific decisions that need to be made now in this window before the next door fully opens. Not a vision board, a governing framework for someone who knows who they are and what they were sent to do. The details are in the pinned comment. When this video ends, that is your next step. Before I close, I want to ask something of you. If you are watching this from somewhere in America, and you feel that this word found you today, that it was not an accident you stayed, I want you to go to the comments and write your city and your state, just that, where you are, and underneath it, write this declaration, I know who I am. 3 words. A decree, not a request. I know who I am. When you write it publicly, you're planting a seed in your own soil. And then, if someone else in your life is carrying what you've been carrying, someone whose name is on your heart right now, share this video with them. Don't send a message explaining it. Just send it. That act of passing it forward is itself a seed, and seeds have their own timing. And one more thing, before we part today. The guide I've mentioned, the Solomon Code, has been sitting in your awareness for the last few minutes. I know how this goes. You'll finish watching, something will pull your attention, and tomorrow this will be a memory instead of a decision. I'm not pushing you. You will know when the time is right. But I want to name the pattern because you already know it. The postponement of the thing that was built for you is not caution. It is the same spirit that tried to use the betrayal to stop you. When you're ready, and I believe you already are, the pinned comment is where you go. May the wisdom from above be your foundation today. May your soul find rest. Until next time.